This show is brought to you by Whatever You Say Productions, starting conversations since 2018.
Happy birthday, Samantha. Happy birthday to you.
Wait, it's just like that meme I sent you with the person that draws the face in the dough.
Yeah.
Like, do. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to episode 22 of Dixon Politics. We are absolutely tickled to have you here. And yes, today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I'm 150 years old. With me today, I have Adriana.
Hi.
And I
Or
also
Britney.
I have Britney Spears, and we also have dialing in from the UK, Victoria Beckham.
Hello.
Do you guys remember when Victoria Beckham briefly did a reality series when she and David were moving to LA? Do you remember that?
Yeah, and she was in the motor vehicle place?
Oh my God, I remember that. And my favorite was when she went to the earthquake simulator van and she's like, they gave me directions, but I can't. It was like duck, hug and hold, duck, scream and hold. No, duck, cover and hold. And that's the only reason I know what to do in an earthquake. So thank you very much, Victoria Beckham. And look, we've got a lot going on in this episode because basically the UK is a mess still. And later on in this episode, we will have Mike Hitless from It's Bro Time joining us to give us his review of Wrestlemania. He was there for all million days of it. And, I will say he was very nice to drunk text me because I kept trying to check in with him. Hey, Kit, how's it going? And he's like, I'm really tired and I'm really drunk right now, but I love you and I'm so happy to hear from you. I'll text you later. And you want to know what? He did. He followed through. Unlike most men, Mike Hitless did follow through. In addition to that, we are also going to be doing hashtag because it would appear that Taylor Swift is coming out with a new album, and she's been dropping all these weird hints as per usual. But you know what, you guys? Let's get into it. We'll kick it off with Aurora with our first segment, What's Burning?
All right, guys, welcome back. Let's get into Brexit, our weekly update.
Our weekly mess.
Our weekly mess. It just puts it into perspective, if you think that your week is going badly, just look at Brexit and it'll just center you. You'll be like, okay, I'm actually okay. Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much the same it used to be, except for the fact that it's been pushed back to the 31st of October. So that's a spooky surprise.
Ugh.
We'll have a bit of a trick or treat situation. But yeah, it's pretty much business as usual and nothing's really changed aside from the date. We still have the same options as before. Theresa has still put her job on the line, saying if you do vote for my deal, I will resign. And we don't know what that will look like, so they'll still have to vote for who they want to put in the PM seat. But the next prime minister will still have the same 7 options to choose from.
Do we know who the next prime minister is going to be? Has that been decided?
No, so they'll have to vote on that, and it'll be kind of a restructuring of the entire party when that happens. So it's not kind of, how in the US you have a president and then you have a vice president, and if anything happens to the president, the vice president goes into power. It's not like that, so they'll have to do a complete new general election to decide who gets the power, pretty much.
Do you ever have a period of time where you don't have a prime minister?
Yes, that did happen when, for example, when David Cameron quit the day after he didn't get the result he wanted for Brexit. He was like, let's vote on this. I'm going to prove you all wrong. And then they proved him wrong, and he was like, lol, bye.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
So actually, about that holiday in Barbados, that's where I'm going to go.
So then what happens when you don't? Because I'm asking because in the U.S., as you know, we have the president, vice president, and then not one single solitary second goes by that we do not have a commander in chief. So what happens when you don't have a prime minister. I know that Queenie is not allowed to step in and say anything.
No, she
So
has
what do you
no
guys
opinion.
do?
I guess it's just the party in general that decides. So if anything were to happen, they'd have to vote on it. But yeah, I mean, she doesn't really have power anyway. Everything that she has to do has to pass through the chamber, and like everyone needs to vote on it. If she had the complete power, she could just make a decision on Brexit and then we'd be done with it. But now, even when they talk about kind of having another referendum and having the people vote, we don't know what the deal looks like. We don't know what we would be voting for. So it's kind of like, okay, we have all these options to choose from, but still we're none the wiser as to what Brexit looks like. Brexit is Brexit. What does that mean? What does it mean?
It's the ever-present question.
Yeah.
So there are 7 options, and what are they?
So the seven options are: 1, no deal. I was about to start singing Miley Cyrus's 7 Things song, but then I stopped myself.
Everything's not about you. Wasn't that a song?
Yeah.
Miley?
Oh, Miley. So option number 1, no deal, which is very possible. And again, we don't know what that would look like. Option number 2, the Prime Minister's deal. Again, we don't know what that would look like. It's kind of like walking into a dark room and not knowing who's there. Option number 3, major renegotiation. Again, we don't know what we are negotiating, so we don't know what that looks like. 4, another referendum. We don't know what the plan is, so we don't know what we're voting on. 5, general election. Now that is down to the members of parliament, so they would need to vote. And just to kind of see what would be going on within their own party. And then a no confidence vote, which would be to vote to see whether they want Theresa May out. And then option number 7, no Brexit, which according to the European Court of Justice would be legal at this point. They can revoke Article 50, which is the article in the EU Constitution that kind of details what would happen if a member were to leave. But I
So
don't
wait,
think
they
they're
can
considering that yet.
literally say, just kidding.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my
They could
God.
literally say on the 30th of October, they could be like, lol, we're not doing this anymore. Guess who's staying?
What?
It's like, actually, I'm not going to break up with you.
Oh God.
It's like being in a shitty relationship.
It
Oh my
is.
god.
Yeah, because half of the other options are just up in the air.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like, actually, I'm
meanwhile,
not going to leave.
while Theresa May is probably like drinking herself silly and banging her head into a wall, Julian Assange was kicked out of your embassy this week. So Julian Assange,
Yep.
for you guys who don't know that, he's the founder of WikiLeaks. He's slimy. And yeah, the Ecuadorian president was like, yeah, we're not going to shelter you anymore because you are a mess and you're disrupting everything and what you're doing is illegal. So where is he now? Do we know? Is he at a hostel somewhere? Like,
Well, as far as I know, he's been arrested by the UK authorities. So he is in prison, as far as I last read. This is on Saturday, by the way. I don't know what'll happen when it actually airs on Wednesday. But there's like everyone in the UK and the members of parliament are kind of talking about what would happen. And they're like, well, we can't really keep him here.
no.
So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. No one
Why
knows what the
was he
fuck is
there to-
happening.
But why was he there to begin with? Was he just like there on holiday? He's like, oh, I'll stay. Or was he living in London?
Maybe
Why was
just
he there?
asylum? I don't know. Can you
Ugh.
ask an embassy for asylum, and can they just say like, yeah?
Oh my God, I can't. I cannot. Well, what a mess over in the UK. Once again, no good news to report. Not much is, better over here in the US, so I don't have anything good to say, but we do have some things to speculate on and we do have some things to discuss. But before I get on to that, we are very excited to announce, because we're always talking about what's happening in the world, but we only do it once a week. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in between. So WISP, whatever you say Productions, has decided to put out a weekly publication. It's going to be every single Friday. And Adriana, it's going to be World News Highlights. Adriana, you named it. What is it called?
It's called Oh my God. News. Paper. And the pauses are because there's a ... in between news and paper.
So last night we were sitting there and we were kind of going back and forth, and I told Adriana about a month ago that I want to get people in sort of the habit of checking in with us, every week for something other than just podcasts. And she goes, well, I don't know how the hell you're going to do that. I said, well, I want people to check in with us every day. And she goes, that's not going to happen. So I'm like, oh, watch me. So I started Slam It with Sam, and she's like, all right, fine. So we wanted to do something that was different, that wasn't something you had to like watch or listen to, but rather something you could read. So yeah, every Friday it'll be on our website, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can subscribe to it, like a little newsletter. It'll be fantastic. And we were trying to come up with a name, and we were tossing around some different ones, but there were a couple other companies that had nothing to do, by the way, with news, like literally nothing, that had taken all of the names that we wanted. So Adriana goes, oh my God, news. I'm like, yo, that's it. So yeah, so oh my God, news, paper. It's going to premiere on Friday. So you can check that out. We'll have that all over the place for you. But you know what? Let's get into it, because Taylor Swift apparently is coming out with a new album. Kim Kardashian is studying for the LSATs. The whole world is upside down. Brexit isn't going to do anything until everything's on hold until Halloween. So let's get into it. Our next segment, hashtag.
Okay, guys, Taylor Swift has posted a countdown on her Instagram story, and all it says is 4.26, 12 days, 8 hours, and 34 minutes. What do you guys think that is? What do you think that means?
I think it's an album dropping. I feel like she's kind of gotten into a new theme. You know how she goes in like waves? She has these times where she'll have like a theme. So for Red, it was like everything was red and the red lipstick. And then 1986, everything was a Polaroid. And then Reputation, it was like the snakes and the darkness. Now her Instagram is very much like pinkish, and there's rainbows, and she's done the L cover, and L is written out in pink. So I feel like, and also the background of the story, it's got that like kind of holographic theme going to it. So I think she's dropping an album, but she hasn't released a single yet. So I don't really know what that means.
Well, I hope that she drops a whole album, because if this is nothing but a countdown to a single, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry. And I love Taylor, and she was a former client of mine, and blah, blah, blah. Her team is great, but don't just drop a single. So, okay, I was looking back, and Aurora, it's interesting that you pointed out the thing about the L writing being in pink. I didn't even notice that. Like that,
I'm looking at
this
that
is
now,
why
too.
you work in digital marketing, and I don't, because I did not notice that. But okay, so on March 14th, she made a post on Instagram, and it said, due to the butterfly migration in Southern California, maybe I'll just stay outside until I head indoors for the iHeartRadio Awards. I mean, in the picture is her like with sunglasses and some ugly varsity sweater, sitting in front of a lattice with some Photoshopped rainbow in the picture. So ever since then, it's just been nothing but sort of like, you're right, Aurora, it's like holographic, sort of sparkly, rainbow looking stuff. But here's the thing, is like, it can't be called Prism, because Katy Perry had an album called Prism, and they hate each other.
Yeah, and it can't be called Rainbow because Mariah Carey has it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, what a legendary, iconic album. Girl, do you remember,
so good.
I got the CD to that album, and the insert inside, if you took it out and you opened it up, it was this like 8x11, give or take, photo of Mariah like on a bed with a heart lollipop hanging out of her mouth in some sort of a rainbow crop top. And I like hung it up on my wall. And my mom walks in and she goes, you really want this on your wall? Like, yes, I do. This is an iconic photo. Thank you. I was 12 at the time. Anyway, so today, which is Saturday, Taylor posted a picture of a glittery heart. It's I don't know, like, Adriana, are these pink diamonds? Is it costume?
Yes, I think. Okay, well, first of all, I don't know if it's a ring or a pendant. So there's that.
Or a brooch.
Yeah.
A brooch. It does look like it's on like a
Fabric.
scarf.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It
I
could be
really
that
don't
the
get it.
albums are either going to be called Heart or Butterfly.
It's gonna have
Or
something to do
rainbow.
with butterflies because she does
butterfly
have
heart.
those ugly the ugly rainbow butterfly shoes she wore to the iHeartRadio
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music Awards. But maybe it's called, like, what else could it be called? Chrysalis or Cocoon or Metamorphosis. It can't be called Metamorphosis because Hillary Duff, excuse me.
Maybe she's doing like a parody album. She's just calling each single the title of like another woman diva.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Maybe.
Taylor Wood. She's
Taylor
funny
Wood.
AF. Oh my God. Aurora, you've been missing it. I wish you were in the US because we found this video. I have to send it to you on Facebook of this guy that does these funny parody videos. And he recently redid the Hey Now, Hey Now
Oh my God.
from the
That
Lizzie
is so
McGuire movie.
iconic.
And Adriana and I, like, all day were like, sing to me, Paolo.
It is one of my favorite movies. You know, two friends of mine and I, we like butchered we serve at 5 the cookies for like an entire month. We could not stop.
Yes, see, we are in the travel guide.
Giorgio Averni.
I'm trying to go away from my microphone. I mean, when you think back to those iconic movies that were sort of up and coming at the same time we were, I always think of like Parent Trap, the Lizzie McGuire movie. But you know, Aurora, did you ever see the movie? Wait, Adriana, what is it called? The Sleepover?
Yes, The Sleepover.
Aurora, have you bestowed upon yourself the Sleepover movie?
No, who's in it?
Alexa Vega, who's now Alexa Penavega, who's apparently a born again Bing Bong. I don't know.
She's from Spy Kids.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When's it from? When was it made?
2004, maybe?
Yeah, around
best
there.
movies were from 2004.
But it's messed up because there's an element to it where they're trying to sneak out and like meet up with this person that they think is this like hot boy that they go to school with, and it turns out to be one of their teachers. And they play it in the movie like it's totally normal. I'm like, why? I don't understand.
Weird.
But Lizzie McGuire movie, I love that. You know, when you first buy movies on iTunes, that was the first movie I ever bought. No idea whatever happened to it. I've bought, 50 iPhones since then, but that's a classic.
It was iconic.
Have you been to the Trevi Fountain or anything, Aurora?
Yeah, I have. And you know that garden where she goes to with Paolo and they're running along with the fountains?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there too. And my mom, I was like 13, and my mom posted a picture of me. Yeah. Yes, Paolo was there. And my mom like posted a picture of me like running along the fountains on Facebook with the caption, "If you have any 13-year-old daughters, you'll know what this means." And I'm like, shut up, Mom.
I'm not gonna get a Vespa, but I will get that little teeny tiny car. Remember when she sneaks out with him? And he has like that tiny car, and then they go to the garden, and then he brings her in, and he's like, Lizzie.
Lizzie
McGuire. The problem is, I need to sing at the Italian Music Awards, but Isabella will not sing with me. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. He's like, sing to me. It's fine. And they go in. Oh, man. That outfit change, everything. And what was the fashion designer's name? Like Paula. Franca, yeah.
Franca. And she dressed her up like
Franca de Montecatini.
Yeah. Those outfits.
By the way,
the igloo.
Yeah.
The igloo dress, yes, the one that oh my God. Wait, is that movie on Netflix? I need to go on Netflix right now, because if it is, I'm watching it while I'm playing Fortnite. Judge me, I don't care.
It's not, I checked.
So then how the hell am I supposed to watch it? What am I supposed to do? Is it on Prime? I don't know. Oh my God, now I'm suffering. So speaking of suffering, oh heavens. Speaking of suffering, so I'm confused. Kim Kardashian West has announced that she's going to be studying for the LSATs. And you guys know that she had an opportunity this year to help out a woman who had been wrongfully imprisoned. And she had been suffering behind bars for like 22 years or 27 years, something like that. So I guess through that experience, Kim realized that the justice system here in the United States of America is very fraught with lots of opportunities to improve itself. So she's now going to be studying for the LSATs. Her father, of course, is Robert Kardashian. He's a famous lawyer. You know, I'm not one to knock a woman down, and I always say it's never too late. Adriana, what do you think of this?
I just want to remember the clip for the new upcoming season where North asks her why there's so many paparazzi outside all the time, and Kim says, oh, because your dad's a singer, and your mommy, well, she has so many talents that she can't even count. I mean, just why not add another one under your belt?
Aurora, what are your thoughts?
I think, like you said, Sam, I think it's never too late to kind of follow your passion. I find it a bit strange that now she's going for the bar, considering she doesn't have a college degree. But also, like we were saying a couple of episodes ago, does it matter? Maybe, if you're going to be a lawyer, possibly.
Yeah.
I'd say so. But I think her heart is in the right place with this stuff, because she's definitely seen a flaw, and she's definitely seen a place where she can make a difference, and a place where her kind of influence in pop culture and in the world could potentially make a difference in the world. She has so many people who kind of look up to her. So if she goes down a positive road, it could really be a positive thing. But also, I feel like with the amount of money and power that she does have, it doesn't necessarily mean that the only option is to get a law degree. I think she could definitely just kind of team up with an already existing organization, and that might make it a bit more powerful. It might make what she is trying to put across and what she's trying to say, it just might give it an extra boost, if you know what I mean.
Sure. You know, the only thing that I think gives me pause, and I agree with what you both are saying, is she's really busy, right? And she and Kanye are about to have a fourth child. And even though it's via surrogate, that doesn't mean anything. The baby still comes home with you. You are still responsible for that child. So I really hope that she has the ability and the team and the flexibility to really give this her attention, while also tending to a new baby at home and so on and so on. Now, I know that she can certainly afford help, but the one thing you can't like pay someone to do is help you sleep. And we all know what happens when we don't get enough rest. So I only hope that she's not spreading herself too thin. I hope that she's really strategic about when she decides to do this. So, you know, studying for the LSATs is one thing, taking them is another. And then I'm pretty sure, like, once you do get your score back, you have to enroll, I'm pretty sure, within that calendar semester. Like, it's not, you can't be like, oh, back in 2012, I passed the LSATs, let me into Harvard. Like, no. If you take them and you pass, or you get a passing score, you have to enroll now. So yeah, I don't know. The only thing I will say in negative terms is that I hope that this isn't just for attention and for publicity. I hope that she really does mean this, because Aurora, it's like what you said, and Adriana, you said this as well. Like, there are people that are born with and people that are born without. There's privilege and there's known privilege, haves and have-nots. Do not take the space of someone who has studied their entire adolescent life for an opportunity to get into a top law school. You know, so I hope that whatever university or college she does decide to go to get her law degree, that they will not sort of just let her in just because she's Kim Kardashian West, but rather that she earned her spot, she paid her dues, she earned her score on her own merit. And I just hope that it's fair for everyone else that has to sort of do this alongside her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
So anyways, all right, you guys, we'll see what happens with that. You know, their season did, like, I hate to say this, but their season did just premiere, didn't it, Adriana? like a
Yeah.
week or two ago.
It was 2 Sundays ago.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago. So, TBD, to be determined. But I know that Mike Kitlis is just itching to tell us all about his experience at WrestleMania. So let's get into it. Our final segment. It's bro time. Mike Kitlis, you did it. You made it out of WrestleMania in one piece. I'm very impressed. How was it?
You know, it was a lot of fun. It was an exhausting venture though. Between Thursday and Friday, they were more concise shows that we're talking 4 hours, and then Saturday at MSG and Ring of Honor New Japan show, that was a whopping 6 hours, and then on Sunday. Man, we really went gusto there, and that sucker was done after 12:15, closer towards 12:30. So a good 7-hour show. Great experience though. Met a lot of great people, a lot of fun human beings and fellow fans, a lot of legends, your celebrities within that industry. Got to shake the hand of Dan the Beast Severn, who was one of UFC's first names and first big champions. And the entire time, the man did not break eye contact with me, and I really thought he was gonna just rip my throat out right there in front of everyone. And thankfully, he did not. And I'm here to tell the tale. So it was a lot of fun, though.
Well, didn't you also get the It's Bro Time story like reshared by one of the wrestlers?
Mr. Flip Gordon made his surprise return to Madison Square Garden. Flip had been injured, and he came back to surprise the crowd. And needless to say, your boy was one of those people who was very, very shocked. So
yes,
it was fun. So thank you, Flip, for putting us up there. It was a good time.
We felt so special. Like when you told us about that, I nearly lost consciousness. So that's great. I'm so glad that you had fun. And I know you had a friend in town that was there with you every step of the way. So you were not celebrating alone. We all know you love wrestling. So that's fantastic. So let's talk about Tiger Woods, because he has, I don't want to say resurrected himself, because he has always had a very successful career, but he did just win his 5th Masters title this past Sunday. Were you watching the game?
Entirely. So we, bunch of my friends and I, we woke up early. Tea time was at 9:20, and almost every single hole, it was something to behold. You were hoping and you were praying for certain things to happen, and certainly Molinari found the water twice down the stretch, and Bubba started fading, and everything fell into place. Tiger's play on 16 is something that's going to stay with me for a long, long time. And the weather held out. It was magical. That was one that it was compared a lot to his first win and his dad and everything chasing there. And this one, though, was one that was a lot of fun for me, that especially coming back from injury and how bad his body was beat down, that no one ever thought that he could do that again and play to that caliber. And sure enough, 10 years later, he wins another major.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. And, I'm happy for him. I think that he's certainly had his fair share of ups and downs, both personally and professionally and physically as well. But, it's like I always say, we all have our favorites. We're all rooting for certain teams and certain athletes, but you can't knock someone who works really, really hard and is dedicated. You know what I mean? Even if they don't take home the biggest win, you always have to show respect for people like that. So I think this is very fabulous. But let's talk about what are you watching? Because the NBA playoffs, they just started a hot chocolate second ago. And we also have the NHL playoffs going on. But what are you watching in terms of good old basketball? I know it's something very near and dear to your heart.
Of course. And some of the biggest things coming right now. So by the time everybody's hearing this, Philly has just kind of rebounded a little bit after getting surprised by the Brooklyn Nets in Game 1. Philly winning big tonight. So I have them coming out of the East. That's going to be the team that I think is going to win the Eastern Conference and represent the East against the West. The West is always a toss-up between how great Steph Curry and the Warriors are. Spurs are playing some good basketball right now too. The Houston Rockets can never be counted out with how great Harden and Chris Paul are. But yeah, no, this is the most exciting time of the year as far as sports go. The NHL playoffs itself are an adrenaline-fueled mess that if you want something that will give you agita, you could not be a fan of any one of these teams, but allow me to tell you, you will sit there and be like, oh my God, clear the zone. So, and that is me channeling my inner Canuck, since John unfortunately is not able to join us tonight. But there's been some surprises already, and I mean, simply some of the favorites like Tampa Bay going down 3-0 to start things off with Columbus, who has never won a playoff series, is now poised to knock off the team that finished first in the Atlantic Division. It's a wild time where anything can happen in sports. So it's a lot of fun. I highly suggest, especially right now too, a team that's won the Stanley Cup twice in the last 3 years, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're currently down, and Tuesday night, by the time this is coming out, it will have already happened. So we're going to just dub over what I say with the exact result. But the Pittsburgh Penguins,
I will do your voiceover.
I appreciate that. Make sure it sounds nice and robotic. I want it to be like when you used to watch movies as a kid and they would like bleep out the bad words with like Sunday or like you need to get the hello out of here. Like that's what I want.
It always makes me laugh when you see, because like E, for example, whenever they play movies or Comedy Central, like they have to bleep it out. But it's so funny because they still have the versions that you can see what the people are mouthing, but they either mute it entirely or they try to put in another word that doesn't match lips, which just makes me think of anime.
I wait for the world and I wait for the time when we can just go ahead and let's just let them all rip. It's all right. We're all adults here.
If we do, we should move to Europe. I mean, they don't censor anything over there.
Well, that's
we
a
could
whole
go
different...
to the UK. Oh wait.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know, number one, if we're too welcome over there right now. Number two, I'm gonna have to stay up even later to be able to watch some of these playoff games. Like the West Coast ones, it's gonna be like, I'm bad with time zones, and I still, I'm not sure with that. But with that starting at like 10 o'clock East Coast time, man, I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. to watch some basketball.
No, I don't think so. Well, Mike, thank you very much for joining us and for checking in and bringing us this super, super quick update. We do appreciate it. And we're looking forward to, of course, welcoming you back next week, because now that we've said goodbye to the Game Over guys who were, encroaching upon your territory, I'm really looking forward to having you stay on for longer segments, tell us what's going on, who we should be following, and then, of course, give us your predictions. If you prove to me that you are basically like the crystal ball of knowing what's going to happen in sports, I might start placing bets. Is that legal?
Yeah, of course it is. You just have to drive to New Jersey to be able to place those bets.
Ooh.
But
you want to come with me?
And I know. So
trip.
if you can see New Jersey, then New Jersey can see you. That's something that you need to keep in mind as well. So just always remember that. Having said that, though, yes, looking forward to being more a part of this. It's like the favorite older brother just moved out. So now that we're the only kid, mom and dad want to give us all the time and the attention in the world. So looking forward to being the favorite.
Oh, stop. I don't play favorites. Yes, I do. Just kidding. Well, no, this is great. And you know what, Mike? You and I right now, we're closing out the episode. You know how to do it. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Start us off.
Yes. Well, thank you everyone so much for tuning into Dicks and Politics. We're so tickled to have you with us every single Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere in between. My name is Samantha.
And my name is Mike. And you just listen to Dicks
and Politics. Get it? Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to Dicks and Politics, fresh, digestible content straight from millennials. You can learn more at dicksandpolitics.com.